that are teaching you just real skills that you can use every day. So I would say for me, it's design stuff, like really useful stuff that I can find for designing. But I got to think about one specific video that would be super useful. And actually, thinking about it right now would be, there's a guy that does like survival skills, and he's outside building using like bricks, using sticks, using like mud, and using like fire to like create like the bricks and all that stuff. It's kind of crazy to see what you're able to create just with basic knowledge and nature. So I guess I would share that.
It's a great topic. Survival is an important thing, and a lot of people. It's interesting when you think about it in history. Actually, a lot of people knew these basic skills, right? But with today's world and how everything is on demand, a lot easier. Most of these skills, where they were mainstream common, and now very few people do know them. And I'm interested to post. I'm going to post this picture actually right now because it's a guy who posted this in a server, and it's very related to what you were just saying. He was creating. Let me just post a picture real quick in the live stream voice text. If you want to find it, right? Okay, so this is tree. If it's looking to load, right? This tree with vines, and he used the vines off the tree to wrap around on his fence post, and he's been building like his own fence all the way around his property. So yeah, it's a cool skill to have. I'm not sure if I could do that without watching videos or learning that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's a good video, definitely. Good topic, and yeah, a good one to recommend if you could only use one to spread knowledge. So yeah, survival skills definitely something that interests me as well. From my background, I was interested in all kinds of. I did public services initially at college because I was wanting to be a field medic in the military, and then I swapped to IT afterwards. But I've always had fun for outdoor stuff, biology, medicine, anything to do with stuff. And I also do hikes every now and again. So yeah, very good answer. Great.
Yeah, and it's really cool to see how really wholesome that idea of survival outdoors is, because you're creating a shelter, but to create a shelter then you have to create a fire, and then you have to create some exhaust for the fire. So you're kind of you're interjecting a lot of different skills in one place, even though you're just out there in nature trying to survive. So I think that's the cool thing to learn. But if anyone else wants to jump on and answer the question, or if I can ask you, Nathan, what would be the video or book that you would pick?
Okay, so a lot of topics interest me, but the number one topic currently that is pretty new, I mean, I only learned of it last summer, is the whole Tartaria stuff. So the one video I would recommend would be the Lost History of Flat Earth. If nobody here has seen that, it's about 6 hours long, quite a long one, but you can spread it up, for a couple of days. So you ain't got to watch it all in one sitting, of course. But I was pretty hooked. I watched it all in a day, and it's 6 hours, a lot of content, brand new topic. So that's one that I'd recommend to spread knowledge. Have you seen that one?
No, I have not. I definitely want to check that out because I'm very into that topic. I just honestly I just mostly watch John Levi and do some independent research just by, I guess, observing independent structures myself. But yes, I'm definitely into that.
Yeah, I'll try and find the link and actually post it in the live stream. So if anybody wants to, I think I've already found it. Hopefully this is the one because I had it saved. Oh, Helio's posted it. Thank you, Helio. Yeah, you guys should definitely watch that if you haven't already. Of course, it's 6 hours, so don't feel like you got to sit it and do it in one sitting. But you can get hooked. I mean, the guy's narration is really good. He's got all the points, and it's just a whole shake-up because when you start looking into like the buildings and all the design work that they put into the stuff, and they did it without power tools, and it's not necessarily flat Earth related, but it's a great topic to bring up to Globers as well because it gets in questioning how much of history can they trust, right? And how much do we really know about our history as a people? So yeah, great
Yep,
video. That's the one I would recommend.
that's awesome. Thanks for sharing. I'll definitely take a look into that. And just seeing how easy it is for them to tear down buildings or even build fake facades in front of buildings to hide the old history. And so it's a bit of a mix up of what you're able to see. But if you have a good eye, you're able to spot these things without an issue. And so when I went to South America and Colombia, I remember being on a train and seeing this beautiful church from far away. And as I got closer, I was so mind blown. I couldn't believe that this was in this plaza. Okay. And in this plaza, they had an art exhibit by this guy named Botero, which is this Colombian artist. And the plaza is called the Botero Plaza. So they put all the emphasis and all of your energy and focus on this artist guy that creates overweight people in paintings, rather than you going to that plaza and looking at the amazing architecture that is literally right in front of you. And it's, to me, it blew my mind so much more than anything else that I saw, that I couldn't believe that people kind of just walked by it and looked at it as a regular church. So, blows my mind.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, you know, you see this. I mean, I've been in churches before as a kid and things, and you just kind of like go through it. You don't think much of it, but it's definitely something that you should think about. I mean, look at the picture Amish just posted. That's one of my favorite pictures that's floating around. There's also this picture, which is from the same place. You know, just look at the pillars and stuff like that. It's
Amazing.
incredible, right? And obviously, they're going to tell you people made that without power tools. You know, it's just you watch the video. That's all I'll basically say, because he does a better job at, you know, going through the complexity of the designs and what it kind of leads into as well. But this whole topic, I mean, I'm new to it. Like I said, it was summer last year. That was when I first heard of the whole mud flood, Tartaria, and all that things. And yeah, it's just a video I'd currently recommend right now because it's got so much knowledge and so much to learn. And I think we take way too much for granted in life, right? That's the reason why we got into the whole mess with the globe anyway. We just believed someone else had it figured out. We just believed what we were taught, and, you know, trusted the narrative, the history, whatever. And yeah, people should definitely watch that video if you haven't already. Anybody else wants to answer the question, feel free. I did post it. If you don't know what it is, it's just a little higher up. I can post it again if you need.
Or we can call on you. Maybe Sunny?
You start from the bottom. I usually start from the top down, but that's interesting. Are you there, Sonny?
He's probably away. It's all
You
good.
should
If
probably
anyone
start
else-
from the top. I think Amish is here because he keeps posting pictures, so I'm sure he's got stuff to say. Are you there, Amish?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, I think, gosh, it's a hard toss-up between self-sufficiency and Tartaria. I mean, one's going to benefit you more in the immediate now, and the other might benefit you academically as you think about things conceptually moving forward. So I guess it kind of depends on your time preference.
Yeah, that's probably true. I mean, both topics were great. I'm interested in both. Survival's always been interested, but this one, the whole Tartaria thing, because it's new, I think I've got more excitement towards it, more driving me to look into it. You know, Survival's kind of been here for many, many years, and I've looked into that stuff. I do watch a few videos. You know, there's some crazy ones on YouTube, but yeah, I feel like they're both great topics. So, which one did you choose? Was it Survival, or is it going to be the Tartaria stuff? Just for you personally, I know you can't really speak for everybody, but what video would you recommend above those two?
I think Tartaria. I think Tartaria inspires imagination and the desire to go out and see for yourself what's out there. I've been out through my town. To dox myself a bit, I live in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. It's like the Amish capital of the world. And I think my town was mud flooded. I've got a lot of pictures I took. Yeah, that's me.
I wouldn't have expected that. I lived out there for a year. Sorry, I'll be quiet. But
Sorry,
welcome.
bro. I have to say it's precious metals if you didn't notice. So we can't really have you talking. I'm sorry, man. Sorry, you can continue, Amish, if you want.
Okay. So yeah, I actually work in a mud flooded facility. I think I'm going to post pictures here if you don't mind on a live stream.
Yeah, go
It was
ahead.
just an example of things anybody can do. I think almost any town might have these kind of things going on. So um, I work in a really big old facility that built bottle caps and cork caps, and it's not that anymore. It's now high rise. It's like high scale offices and apartments. But you can kind of see here windows that are now at the ground floor. You can see bricks all the way down to the pavement. You can kind of see makeshift doors that may have been put in after the fact. Um, so it's just kind of curious. I mean, if you didn't know about Tartaria, you might not know to look for this. Although you may have wondered about those windows at the base floor of all these old buildings anyway. For me, Tartaria kind of provided some insider answers to that, which is for me important because it's also biblical. In the cycles of resets and especially in the context of the flood and such. So.
Yeah, he mentions that briefly in his video as well, how a child might ask, why is this window so low to the ground? And, it is a question that you should definitely pose, because if you're going to be creating architectural buildings like the ones you see from the past, I mean, they're nothing like the concrete buildings that are just squared and, boring generic designs we see today. The ones back then, we can't even create it anymore. Good luck finding someone or any contractor that's going to be able to chisel those massive pillars, and don't forget they did this with no power tools either. I think that's the most ridiculous part, is even with today's modern tech, we can't replicate it. That's definitely the biggest one for realizing that the narrative's definitely got a lot that you can't trust because it just doesn't make any sense.
It's true. My house was built by Amish people, and it's great workmanship, but it's still nothing like what we see that's been mud flooded and buried. And by the way, Amish schools still teach flat Earth today. Just thought I'd throw that out there. They're all flat Earthers, and that's how they recognize each other. When they go on the Rumspringa, which is when they turn 16, they have a chance to go out in the world and see if they want to leave the Amish community and become part of the profane world, which is us. A lot of ex-Amish identify themselves by asking questions like, "Hey, man, do you think the Earth is flat?" And you're like, "Yeah. How long have you known?" Since I was taught it in Amish school when I was like 5 years old, and it's just kind of weird. So I think we have a lot of allies. They're just not on the internet.
Cool. I didn't know that the Amish get taught in schools about Flat Earth. I have heard about Flat Earth being taught in schools in some places still today, and obviously in the very, very early 1900s. You've got the newspaper articles as well, like, I'm trying to remember the heading, something like Globe Earth who gets thrown in prison for suggesting Earth is round, or something like that along those lines in the heading. But yeah, again, that's what a lot of people need to realize. The globe itself, it's very new. It's not something that's been in the forefront of many people's minds. It's just like most of the people that did live and knew Earth was flat back in the day, they've all died, and now you've got all the generations that were taught the globe. So you haven't really got many people. Well, I don't think you got any people alive that used to know and were taught in school Earth's flat. And obviously, with today, it's just nothing but the globe. People's just like, well, it's always been that way. Similar to passports. People think we've always needed passports. We actually didn't. It was a wartime measure. So, many, many things you think we've always had that we didn't always have, and it used to be very different, and it was not as long ago as you think.
And you would think people could see through some of this stuff because of the evidence that is in front of our eyes. It's not like we don't have evidence. There, in my opinion, a good evidence of how crazy this architecture is how massively over-engineered they are, in the sense that there are buildings that their walls are 8 feet thick. And that, on thinking today to build a house or build a structure that's 8-foot thick wall, unless you're doing like something insane, you would not find that in a past building. Like, people should look at that evidence and be like, why would they build something that's so overly engineered back then when supposedly they couldn't do that? So to me, that some of those things are just so blatantly obvious, but that's because we're looking into this. If you don't care, then you kind of don't see why.
That's absolutely true. I mean, again, these people had no power tools, nothing like that we have today. They were just trying to survive all that stuff, and yet they put all this effort into creating these monumental structures and all these intricate designs that offer no benefit other than incredible hardships, workmanship, incredible amounts of time that you must put into it, right? It doesn't make any sense why you would do that. You see the old Wild West style tin box saloons and stuff. That's a lot more what you would expect to see from a primitive people without power tools, etc. Why you would expect to see things like that, getting posted in the live stream. Yeah, it's definitely something worth considering.
Yeah, even buildings that they have a hard time taking down. It's like, why? Why do you have a hard time taking down this building if you put it up? Supposedly, doesn't make sense. So those are really cool pictures that you guys are sharing there on the live stream text.
Yeah, we got a couple of new people join as well. So if anyone else doesn't know the question, I'm just gonna repeat it again for the floor, and feel free to unmute and ask away, answer. So if you could recommend one book or video to spread knowledge, which book or video would you choose and why? So feel free to answer if anyone wants to, or we can just keep going down the list. I guess I'll start with Napalm. Oh, you just unmuted. See, that synchronicity there, bro.
We're thinking alike, my friend.
Yes, beautiful.
I don't have a good definitive answer on this because it's so hard to limit to just one, either book or video, to be honest with you. And that's, I think, part of the problem I have sometimes with trying to discuss things with people that don't have a well-read or studied knowledge on something, is it's very hard to convey one type of understanding to somebody because it seems like there needs to be 4, 5, 6, 10 other understandings that you need to have before you can understand. It's kind of like a building process. So to me, I would really struggle to give just one publication or one video to spread knowledge, to be honest with you, unless you're referring to specifically Flat Earth, but I know we try to avoid that. So
yeah, I mean, I appreciate you trying to be creative with the answer. If it's difficult for you to say, one particular book or one particular video, you can always just say one topic that you think is the most important to spread knowledge with. So, obviously for me, I chose a 6-hour-long Flat Earth Lost History video because of the whole Tartaria references and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's a good. It's a well put together compilation that gentleman did. So yeah, that's pretty good. I like that one because it's like it's touching upon so many other topics that would lead you down a path of really having to investigate a lot of other things. So it's a good starting point or touch point. I would agree with that. As for me, one thing that I found very beneficial or led me down a path of knowledge was me looking in and starting to study various theories of economics and finance. And that led me down a specific path, or at least I chose a specific path to start to investigate, which led me a lot more towards truth. But yeah, even with that, I feel like giving people a good basis on even classical philosophy and stuff like that would be good as well. I don't know. There's just so many things. Sorry.
No, it's fine. Yeah, there are a lot of, this is a great thing with Flat Earth. Once you learn Flat Earth, it leads into a million other things, and then you start just gaining more knowledge and more knowledge as it goes on, and then it becomes more difficult to articulate that in a way that you know how to present it to an individual. So yeah, I can see why you're kind of struggling. But there are so many great topics. I think they're all valid. It doesn't matter what you want to bring up. Whether it's like you said, the money, the economy, and then Tartaria, the Flat Earth itself, of course, being the biggest, at least in my view. I mean, it can't get much bigger than the Earth, can it? But yeah, there's many topics to learn, and I think they're all valid.
I think also that it could be specific to you. So in my case, I I like learning about construction stuff because I'm into design stuff. So I don't do as much construction. So I like being up to date with what people do in construction by following either people on YouTube and stuff like that, and just watching them go through the process of remodeling and doing all that stuff. So, in my opinion, if you find someone that does a great job at what they do and they share it with you for free on YouTube, then it's a good idea to just follow that, so you can kind of learn passively, in the same way that sometimes I learn in this server about subjects that maybe I wouldn't know about, but just passively by listening to conversations, you learn a lot, and it's better than, in my opinion, sometimes rewatching TV shows or listening to music over and over again, because you're getting new information, and sometimes that can be beneficial. It could spark something new. So
Yeah, there's so much to take in. Again, I still think the flat Earth's the biggest, and then it'll just slowly trickle into all those other topics that you come across. There's so much to learn in such little time. I think that's the only regret that I have about life. That you ain't got time to figure it out, and even if you did, some things are just inherently unknowable as well, which can be a little upsetting. But you got to deal with it. So,
Is it open to the floor?
Yeah, it's open to the floor. Go. Who was that? I didn't catch who it was.
My name's Oblivion, but they renamed me Obliviswan.
Oh, is that for the Black Swan?
Yeah, 2 years ago. They
That's
did
an
it.
awesome. That's an awesome name, actually, Obliviswan.
Yes, I like it. I don't think I've heard you before. So, are you like new, or have you been here a while?
No, well, I haven't been here for 2 years.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Came back.
So, is it like what was it that made you step away for 2 years from the flat Earth scene?
The China virus mostly, and life.
All right. So,
Well,
how long have you? Sorry,
Oh,
carry
go
on.
ahead.
I was just
No,
going to ask, like, how long you were a flat Earth, or how long have you been looking into flat Earth?
Gosh, it was probably about 2 or more years, and I was listening on YouTube. God, it was probably even longer than that. But anyway, then all of a sudden I came across one of Nathan Oakley's videos, and then just binge listened and listened to everything, QE and all of them, and then came across the Discord.
Awesome, bro. So much to learn. Is it like, is there any particular questions you have about flat Earth, maybe that you would like to ask anyone here for the Silvers and Golds?
Oh, the reason I asked if it was open to the floor is because I had a recommendation. Is a video by QE called the Creator versus Atheism. It's the most profound video I've ever come across. I watch it or listen to it about 2 or 3 times a year, every year.
What's it called?
I'd post Quantum Eraser, the Creator versus Atheism. I'd post it in the chat, but I don't have permissions.
No, it's okay. I think I've actually seen that video. Is it the one where he talks about like the sandcastle on the beach as you walk down it and that
Yes.
stuff? Right? Yeah, that
Everything.
one's great. It's. I'll just say it's you. You gotta be like, don't watch it while you're tired, because you're gonna miss it. You gotta pay attention, right? Is that what you
Yes.
would agree with? Yeah.
Oh,
It's
sure.
pretty in depth. Yeah, great video to choose to share knowledge. I agree. Because again, I think the whole creative topic or creation topic as a whole, for Earth, it's subjective, right? The antecedent to a creation is a creator or creators plural. It doesn't matter. I don't make a claim to what, whose are you, who are. I don't make a claim to what, who made this place, but I can know objectively for a fact that something did. Something intelligent, right? You see that divine order everywhere. You see intelligent design in everything. It's just like the sandcastle example. You weren't there to witness someone build the sandcastle, but you can know for an objective fact that somebody made it. It's intelligently designed, right? So yeah, watch that video. Anyone that's interested in that stuff. Thanks for sharing, man. Really appreciate it.
No problem.
Hey, I'd like to add on to what Napalm said earlier about all the various different fields or topics required to understand things. And I just want to say that I think it's philosophy, which is how you make these things cohesive together, because philosophy is like the art of arts and the science of sciences. That's how, like, you can talk to anybody if you have some understanding of philosophy, because it's studying the nature of things. And so I brought this up because I have a video that goes into traditional philosophy before the sort of like Enlightenment era revolution, so to speak. And it's by this guy named Jay Dyer, and he does a video on traditional metaphysics. No, not metaphysics like the stuff you find in Barnes and Noble, but just studying like natures of things, and the presumptions that go into the kind of like Enlightenment area materialism. And so I'll link it later in the live stream text. But yeah, I think philosophy is really important because the modern education system, they teach people things in vacuums. Like biology, for example. They teach people how to become a biologist, but they don't teach them anything really about philosophy. And philosophy is how you make connections between various other departments and fields. So I think if anybody here is like overwhelmed by where to start or how to understand all these topics, start with the history of philosophy, which is how I started. And then it leads you down the path of philosophy, which bleeds into questioning the nature of your reality, like flat Earth. What exactly is truth? How do we justify things, right? Logic. Because if you don't have that foundation, you're not going to be able to really present a good argument. I mean, maybe you could, but it's really the foundation you need in order to talk about it to people, to understand it, to make connections between all different kinds of subjects. Biology, math, logic. All these things are actually connected in some way. And so, yeah, the modern education system, they don't teach you this. They just teach you one specific thing. Maybe you'll dabble in like math or, like physics, but there's no real. They don't tell you what exactly truth is. In fact, they'll say, truth is all relative, or there is no such thing as truth. And so, yeah, that's my recommendation is look into Traditional Philosophy by Jay Dyer. I'll link it in the live stream text.
I have to say, it was nice listening to someone who actually understands very, very well what philosophy actually is. Great discussion, for sure. And for anyone that isn't really well versed in what philosophy is and all that stuff, I mean, he described it really well, but I just want to add, it is translated from Greek as love of wisdom. So it's definitely something that you should look into if you want to build up you as a character, how to have a coherent, rational conversation and discussion, and just it helps you in a lot of ways when you have a nice overview of it. So yeah, that's a good video or book to suggest, like the question required. So thank you for answering.
And it's true that they compartmentalize the information so you can't connect it. And so you kind of take one track in one direction. And so there's all these different paths, and people choose one path when in reality, we should take a trip down every path a little bit to get a whole understanding of it rather than going so deep in one direction. But that's just my take. So.
Yeah, I got one. Can I say one?
Yeah, go ahead, John.
Yeah, go for it, John.
Cool. Thanks. Well, for me, that's a really good question because, there's so many broad subjects in this truth movement right now. But for me, I thought about it, and I think first the foundation, what's foundational is ourselves. So I would recommend working on oneself in this way. I would recommend one thing. And you know, because like I said, I wanted to say so many things, but I was like, no. First, what's helped me the most is learning to meditate in yoga. So because that right there, you're learning to balance the left and right hemispheres of your brain, because we're all out of balance. We don't have wave what's the wave, not coherency, but congregation. When it comes to brain waves, we don't have good wave congregation. Most people their left and right brains are out of balance. Meditation helps you with that. So, and it helps you with a lot of other things. So I would recommend this book called The Complete Illustrated Book of Yoga by Vishnu Devananda. He was one of the first big yogis that brought yoga to the West, and he got a lot of you know, crap from all the other yogis back in the East about that book, because he gave away so much of the really inner knowledge of the yoga stuff. But to the West, he was the first person to present it. Other big yogis came afterwards, like you know, the Beatles got with the Maharaji, and the different yogis have come. But he was like one of the most unsung and biggest influences that brought that knowledge to the West in history. So anyway, The Complete Illustrated Book of Yoga by Vishnu Devananda. I'll put it in the thing, and just to get an overview of what really yoga is for a lot of people, because a lot of people have a lot of misconceptions, you know. And that book is like on a really high level too, you know, of what he's teaching. The way his mind, he's got a really high level mind, so it's really great. That's all.
All right, thank you. I haven't heard too much about the whole meditation yoga stuff. I didn't pay too much attention to it, but it's definitely a topic that I should probably look into, especially because I care a lot about you know, my mental well-being, and also just consciousness as a whole, and you know, constantly improving myself. So yeah, if you post that in the live stream, I'll bookmark it and give it a look at some point.
Yeah, I'll post it. Just so you know, it's considered a science. It's not a religion, because it's based on trial and error over thousands of years. So it's a science of yoga. Yeah, I'll post it, and thank you for letting me share that.
Yeah, no problem, man. I have heard some people, well, there's one person in particular who is always going on about meditation that I know of, and he says it's really useful and it's good for the mind and all that things, and, you know, maybe I should set some time apart to bother doing it, but I don't know, I just distance myself from a lot of the whole
Right,
mind
'cause it's hard.
exercises and stuff recently. What's up?
It's hard.
Sorry.
It's hard to find the best on it, because everything's so distilled at this point. But yeah, that's why I want to post this, so we can get to the core, so people can see what it really is about, without all the, you know, like the way when people first come to flat Earth, and they're like, they don't even know what the arguments are really. There's just a bunch of straw man arguments that they're, you know, that's not even what we really are. So it's the same thing with this. But all right, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Maybe you should say refined technique or refined method, or a method instead of science, you know. I don't know. Might be a more accurate term.
Yeah, I just think meditation as a whole, it's not much that I know about, because I've only had people give me their anecdotal experiences and opinions on it. I haven't actually studied anything in depth towards that topic. But yeah, that book sounds like it'd be useful, so I will bookmark it and give it a look. And of course, anyone else that's interested here, feel free to do the same. Lots of good videos being shared in the livestream voice text since this Precious Metal started, which is great. And of course, it's open to the floor, so don't feel like you have to wait to be called on. You can just unmute and, you know, go, I want to ask a question, and we'd love to hear it. But we do have Ben the Man here, who I pinged earlier. I'm not sure if he's here. Are you here, Ben? Because I see you got the VC verified, so we always like to welcome and speak to the new people.
Oh, yeah, I'm here. I'm just listening, though.
Ah, cool, man. That's no problem. If you have any questions, feel free to unmute. It doesn't have to just be about the Air Fever, because it's kind of precious metal, so we can kind of keep it, you know, in the realm of things like the question we have posed for today is if you could recommend one book or video to spread knowledge, which book or video would you choose and why? So if you do have something along those lines that you want to bring up, feel free.
I did want to respond
Okay.
a little bit to what who was it that asked it?
Who asked what? Sorry.
I think John was. about the meditation, right? He was answering about the meditation. And
Right.
for me, meditation, I have in the past tried it a bit and practiced it a little bit. I have definitely not done it since then. But for me, it is, like when you go work out and you work out your muscles and your muscles get bigger. So you're basically working on your strength. Meditation, in my opinion, is working on your concentration and your ability to stay focused on one specific subject. So if you can get yourself to meditate, focus on your breathing, and keep yourself from having random thoughts come into your brain, then you can really strengthen your focus. And that is what it is. It's kind of your exercise for your focus. And that's just what it is for me. So I guess answering on that, it is a good thing to try, and it does have a lot of stigma. So for me is what positive aspects can I learn from it? And for me is concentration and exercising that.
Yeah, that's most of the experiences people share with me. It helps you focus your mind and all that stuff. I've never really bothered to do it, and the main reason is just that I don't feel like I'm really strong in the mind anymore. So I don't know. I'll give the book a read and make up my mind from there. I guess no pun intended with that.
That book is even so rare. It's weird that it's so rare because, like, the autobiography of a yogi by Yogananda is way more popular, but this one is like way better, and it's like suppressed almost. I mean, actually having trouble finding any good links to post online, but at least post an image of it. You can definitely find it on Amazon or whatever. You'll find it. I just wanted to find something free real fast that you can check out, but there is like a little preview. Anyway, yeah, I highly recommend it. And like he's right, it teaches. What it does is it makes your mind. It's weird. It's like you can access that truth vibe quicker, and it also you think clearer, you think faster. It helps you with a lot of different things. I've gained a lot from it. It's just I haven't been a perfect yogi because like I still smoke weed and stuff. I'm not supposed to do that, but I did get rid of a lot of my old habits because of that. And the more I meditate, the less I want to even. It really puts your mind in a good place if you're doing it right, if you learn the right way to do it. But you have to have a master teach you. It's not the whole concept of just learning it real quick from somebody is BS. It doesn't work that way. You really have to put some time in to really learn the real truth about it, because you can learn how to. What you're learning, most people are doing are concentrating. They're not actually meditating. Learning how to concentrate is what you first do. Later on, you get to the higher levels where you're actually meditating, and you're downloading a certain vibration, a certain type of energy. You're downloading it into your system that you can get that energy, but this is like a concentrated form of it. It's difficult to get that energy, but that's the highest form of energy, and you'll get it through meditation if you learn how to. Because what it is you might have something you chant, and that chant has been chanted for thousands of years by thousands of yogis who have been practicing. That it's already concrete, like it's very positive energy, and it's concrete over thousands of years of repeating it over and over. So that vibration, you're like downloading it. It's already been established, in other words, and you're just getting it. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, again, I haven't looked into it in any depth. I've only had the personal anecdotal experiences shared with me, and everyone that has given me their opinion on it, they always have a positive one. I haven't heard a negative one yet, so maybe I'll try it out. I definitely will give it a look, though, but whether I go to try it out, that's another question entirely. But Resolve wants to speak about a book he's been posting on the live stream, because I did pick up on that. So whenever you're ready, Resolve, feel free to tell us what your book, How I Found Freedom in an Unfree World, is.
Yeah, this book was impactful for me when I was much younger. I haven't refreshed on it in quite a while, but it talks about why you are not free and how you can be free. Like I said, it's been a while since I've cracked open this book, but yeah, it did Um, it did have impact. It was a good self-help book. I'll just go through the contents. It has sections: identity traps, intellectual emotional traps, morality trap, unselfishness trap, group trap, government traps, despair trap, rights trap, utopia trap, the burning issue trap, previous investment traps, box trap, certainty trap, how you can be free, part 2, how you can be free, freedom from government, freedom from social restrictions, freedom from bad relationships, freedom from marriage problems, jealousy problems, family problems, business problems, insecurity, exploitation, the treadmill, freedom from pretense.
It sounds like the perfect handbook for personal development. It's got everything you could possibly fit in there for building on your own character and your own, personal liberty, like it says. So, yeah, I'll bookmark that one as well and give it a look because I do enjoy reading books.
Yeah, it doesn't go too in depth into each of the subjects that I just listed, but scratches the surface. And yeah, I heard it was banned too at one point. I don't know if that's true, but before it was kind of hard to pick up a copy. Like it seemed like they were pretty expensive, but they're still around apparently.
Yeah, anything to do with personal development does interest me. I feel like it's something that I'm just working towards all the time, and I appreciate that. So thanks for sharing, Resolve.
Thanks.
So I just wanted to share something real quick, kind of along those lines, regarding liberty and kind of its definition. I feel like the classical or the pre-Enlightenment definition of liberty was basically learning how to govern oneself, one's body, one's actions, in the form of self-governance, and how to better interact with society by governing yourself. And I feel like at some point, either Hobbes or Locke kind of switched the idea of liberty or freedom from self-governance and how to govern one's own actions into more of a do what thou wilt kind of idea of freedom and liberty. And I feel like that has been pretty detrimental to society, as it's been kind of conveyed, at least it seems like, through modern times, that freedom and liberty basically means you have the freedom and liberty to do whatever you want, do what thou wilt, nothing matters kind of thing. Or I feel like a more classical definition or a classical idea of liberty is how to govern oneself and one's actions and how that applies to the greater society as a whole. I just wanted to...
Yeah, that's great. I mean, to me, it sounded like you were actually describing anarchy, if you know what that is, because it's basically self-governance by definition. It's you being in a free state from governmental bodies and authorities and just controlling your own actions. That's basically what anarchy is. So, yeah, it's got a lot to do with liberty, and I think you basically defined anarchy there, so good job, because I'm an anarchist myself, and it looks like Andrew is as well, just based off his profile picture, if he's there.
Oh, is my anarchism showing? I'm sorry.
No, I like you, man. I'm an anarchist as well. Are you Andrew?
Yep.
Nice, man.
Well, that's anarcho-communism, which is retarded, but it just looks good with the red. But again, anarcho-communism is stupid. There's no such thing as that. Really, all that matters is just anarchy. Like, if you get that concept, it's
of course
and natural law. Natural law is the point of it. That's pretty much it.
Hey, Morvis as well. Great. Yeah, a lot of the good people know how to be anarchists. I think it's the best place to to be an anarchist. If people don't know what that is, it's just been defined. But feel free to do your own research and make your own mind up. But I feel like it's the best state to be in, state of anarchy, and just be an anarchist. It's actually really useful and helpful as you developing as an individual, which is what I'm all about. So thanks for sharing, Napalm, and Andrew as well.
Yeah, just to touch upon what Andrew was saying, I feel like the modern iterations of anarchism, or at least the term that gets bandied about most when it comes to anarchism, does come from the left or the anarcho-communists, within relatively recent times. But yeah, in my opinion, it stems from really the classical definition of liberty and controlling oneself and ruling one's own actions.
Yeah, exactly. And I know Marvis can't speak, but I'll just read out what he wrote. He says, anarchy doesn't mean chaos like Depression. It's true. You'll always read a headline in the news or something like, it's total anarchy on the streets or something like that, right? But it's got nothing to do with that. Anarchy is not about violence. It's about self-governance. That's literally the definition. So, yeah, thanks for sharing again, guys. Great stuff.
Yeah, I would add that anarchy, by definition, as you said, is A, and narcos. A is negation, narcos means leader. So anarchos, anarchy means without leader, no leader. That's it. It doesn't mean no rules. It means no ruler. You don't need a ruler to know what is right to do and what people should do. So again, as you just said, but now I just wanted to put it more in context because by definition of terms, anarchy, anarchos means no ruler. That's it. That's all it means. Not just randomness on streets as everybody portrays it in the news, as you said.
Yeah, it's nice talking to a fellow anarchist because I haven't had a discussion about it with any anarchists or people that support anarchy in general. So it's nice to know that you, Napalm, and you, Andrew, are up for it, and Morbis as well. Great stuff.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Hey, can you repeat the question for me? I have been listening.
Yeah, of course, Sunny. Question is, if you could recommend one book or video to spread knowledge, which book or video would you choose and why?
Book or video? Okay. Boy, that's kind of a tough question because I devour information at a rapid pace. When I look at my, at just one day's feed of me looking through information and watching videos, it's it takes me a few minutes to go through what I've just looked at in one day. But let me see for a sec. Let me see. Anything that stands out? Yeah, and you might be shocked by this. By which book that I'm recommending. But I think everybody needs to suspend disbelief like we had to do to get to where we are today. And I'm going to recommend everybody read the book of Alcoholics Anonymous. I don't care if you drink or if you've never drank or if you're maybe possibly an alcoholic or whatever. But the reason I recommend that is for the philosophical and religious, well, not religious, but a spiritual content in that book. The spiritual content. So, were you also talking about anarchy just a minute ago, right?
Yeah, right. That's what we were talking about.
Yeah, so this is really appropriate and current for me because I just had this conversation with my friend who doesn't see things the same way, doesn't have my experience with as far as what I consider freedom and how that is different from her ideas. And it's probably shocking to hear somebody say, I don't stand down for any man. I don't stand under any man. I don't stand under any man's authority. I'm not afraid of any man. I'm not afraid of any. I'm not afraid of people, places, and things any longer. So I have earned the right to govern myself. If I can govern myself as a thinking being, and be able to direct my actions in an appropriate way within the guidelines of natural law, whether they be moral or physical. If I can confine myself into those rules of the natural world, and like somebody mentioned before, these rules we have written in our heart, where did that come from? So we all have this. We know. I know how to go to a corner of a street and look right and left, make sure there's no cars coming. If there's no cars coming, I don't need a light to direct me to tell me when it's okay to cross a street. I've been crossing streets since I was a little kid. I've only got hit once. Just kidding. It's true. But anyway, yeah, I know how to cross the street. So I agree with this. I have full right to my own dominion. No one, like, my home is my castle. I will fight to the death to uphold my right to freedom and others. Here's how I stand on this. I took an oath to uphold the Constitution of the United States, right? So that doesn't mean, oh, okay, I agree with the Constitution, like the corporation. No, not at all. Like, I agree with the principles of liberty and freedom and the right to pursue happiness. Like, my right to live my life as I see appropriate. Like, are there consequences of being free? Yes. But where is freedom? Freedom is in our mind. And that kind of leads me to what you're talking about, meditation. So if inside of myself I have a battle with myself, which a lot of us do, which is seldomly talked about, we need to overcome these struggles we're having within ourselves. This battle is not an external one. As a matter of fact, no situation or experience any of us are having right now has very little to do with the external at all. It has to do with the internal. Our internal experience is where everything exists. Yes, there's a physical world. Yes, we know we measured, it's flat, the surface. Like, all these things are empirically, yes, there are objective truths in the physical world, right, on Earth. But we also have an internal world, like an internal life, an internal world that a lot of us don't have contact with, and actually have a tortuous relationship with themselves. They haven't sat inside themselves and tried to sit on the side of a still bank along the stream of their thoughts. Streaming downstream, they think that they're still in the stream with their thoughts. They think the thoughts are them. And interestingly enough, in the ego, where those thoughts are swimming around, it thinks it's you too. It's always trying to convince you that the ego, that your thought process is who you are, or your knowledge is who you are. It's not true. I'm here to tell you. And I'm gonna prove it to you. When you go to bed tonight and you're laying down and you close your eyes and it's still and quiet, close your eyes and you hear nothing, you sense nothing but your breathing and your chest moving up and down and your heart beating and your blood running through your veins and whatever nerve impulses you're feeling on the exterior of your body. You're inside there. You can go with your eyes closed into that dark place. You can observe your thinking. So I ask you this, if you can observe your thinking or watch your own thinking, who's doing the watching?
Yeah, well, that's interesting. Yes.
Who's doing the watching? If you can watch your own thoughts, are the thoughts watching themselves? If you think you're your thoughts, or you think you are in the thoughts, that you're watching yourself as a thought? No.
It's quite funny that you're saying this, Sunny, because we were talking about meditation, and this is quite frankly the master class of beginning into meditation.
I've been meditating for years. Like, I grew up as a stoner teenager, like in Southern California, in the mid 70s, when they thought they were the center of the universe. And I suppose, like, we know that they are the satanic one, but in LA there, but I digress. But the yoga book, I think that somebody mentioned one of the very earliest ones is the one that I had, and I used to do yoga and martial arts as a kid. Was I a stoner? Yes, but so what? Spicoli can go to yoga classes too and take martial arts, right? Got it? Ridgemont High? That's my era, sorry. Probably somebody don't get the reference. Anyway.
Don't worry, I get it.
So if I don't work on this internal dialogue with myself, we've talked about that.
Laughing
Pardon?
out loud.
Yeah. What'd you say?
Laughing out loud. Sorry.
There you go. So if I don't work on this relationship with myself, inside myself, like if you're like me, I didn't like myself very well. Not as a matter of fact, that's a really mild way of saying it. I hated myself and I didn't know why. I had to look deep inside. What's going on with me? Why am I acting this way? And like it led me to this place where I could stop being a victim and take responsibility for my own life and do what I need to do to take care of myself, first of all, because doesn't it all start at home? So if I don't know myself inside myself within my own body, who am I? I'm just a meat sack. No, that's not true. So I've lived for most of my life in more of a spiritual realm than I think most people have. I'm not trying to say anything about, take whatever you want from that. I'm just talking to you like as any other human being, like I would if you're whatever, sitting here across the table from me and we're having a discussion. So I had to learn and find out who I was. So I took many different avenues to do that. I looked at Sigmund Freud. I looked at Carl Jung. Now Carl Jung is one I looked at because the structure of it, and then you include with that Myers-Briggs. And through my meditation and doing an actual workbook of separating out I'm an INFP, so I'm a freaking very unusual person, not only mostly to myself. So, yeah, I don't know. So, couple that with this knowledge I discovered 5 years ago with the Earth and having as many series of personal difficulties and disasters, catastrophes, on all levels, biopsychosocial, all of that. So it wasn't out of my own virtue that I discovered meditation. It was because out of destitution, I had to find a way that I could survive. Otherwise, I wasn't going to make it. So for me, it was life or death. To everybody, it's probably not maybe that extreme. That's okay with me. I don't mind. I'm just glad I'm still here. But meditation is super important for me because what I got in the results is I found out what I needed to do, what I liked. I had to look and figure out, what do I like? What makes me feel good about myself? How can I be my own cheerleader? How can I cheer myself up when I feel shitty? Why do I feel shitty in the first place? I have to have this dialogue with myself, constantly counter my own thinking. I have to do battle with my thinking because there's a freaking psychotic clown in there somewhere in all of us. And if you deny that, you're going to project that out to the rest of the world. Well, if you make peace with this clown and say, look, I don't agree with your standpoint. You're not going to control me today. You're going to sit in this little clown room that I designed for you because I can't get rid of you because you're a part of me. So you're going to sit in here and I'm not listening to you. Do whatever you want in your little padded room. So the clown is not in control today. That's my saying for today. And I'm just going to leave it with that. Don't let the clown rule your day today. Thanks.
That was beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely fascinating, Sonny. I'm probably going to have to play it back.
Really interesting.
Yeah, I'll play that back, listen to it again. I mean, you went on for a while there with a lot of different interesting points brought up. Appreciate that. Thank you very much for
the whole
sharing, Sonny.
Jungian philosophy stuff that was going on, the whole clown and stuff. There are two sides of you.
I'm full of it, and that's that's not only trivia. That's funny.
Dude, great piff, son. Killer piff, bro.
I'm just speaking from the heart.
That's what makes it real, man. Thank you.
Thanks to all of you, because I mean, I had all these things going on inside of me for a long time, just like all of us, but I didn't know how to express them in a concise and understandable way that's digestible for people listening until I came here and learned how to use the words that I already had available. So I started using them, and it's been just awesome, because it's like the most important part of my day is to listen to people communicating and communicate myself and have my voice be heard, and yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. But anyway, thanks for letting me share, y'all.
Of course, Sonny, it's great. Always nice to have you here. Thanks for always being here for the Precious Metals as well. It's very, very nice to talk to you, and thank you for your amazing stories and sharing all that information. I mean, you did speak for a long time, and I definitely need to play it back and listen to it again. Thank you very much. And if anyone else wants to answer, feel free. If you don't know the question, just let me know and I'll repeat it for you. Maybe John Jumbo, since you were talking earlier about it. Do you want to answer today's question?
No, I'm really just here to listen.
All right, that's fine. I appreciate you being here. It's always nice to see the people in Precious Metals showing up all the time. It's great. Especially the new people as well. And there is a new Anthony F here, but he's not got any roles. But if you are here, Anthony, and you want to speak, just head up to the VC check-in and someone will follow you up there. Rookie, do you want to answer today's question? If you're there.
I got family with me right now, I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. Don't worry about it. I guess I can move on to Twad if he is there. Hey, Twad. I'm not getting any audio through. Are you there?
Yeah. Hello?
Yeah, that's coming through a little better. So do you know today's question, or do you need me to repeat it for you?
Yeah, it's a tough one.
Okay, so the question is if you could recommend one book or video to spread knowledge, which book or video would you choose and why?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind is the Bible.
Right, someone else said that as well, but I think it was Level Up, but she didn't. She wrote it in the text, so yeah, good choice, I guess. I don't believe it, but I still think there's good stuff in it, without a doubt. So yeah, continue anyway, if you were still finishing.
Yeah, sorry, yeah. Yeah, that would be so good. But another one is a book would be Bruce Lee's Jeet Kune Do. Just because it gives you it gives your brain a kick to be able to absorb knowledge in a way that is unbiased. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, I was following for the most part, but it is kind of difficult because there's a lot of static that comes through when you do speak.
Yeah, sorry about that. My microphone.
Yeah, it was better yesterday, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's the live stream because there's a lot of people in here, and sometimes the bandwidth gets shared across many people. But yeah, if that was basically it, I would agree that the Bible is definitely a good book for. It helps you develop as a person. Like it's got good morals and stuff in it that I would definitely agree most humans should follow. But whether or not you want to believe in the whole book itself, that's another topic entirely, and probably not for the live stream. But at least you could recommend one book. You would choose one book that encompasses many books. That's a smart answer to use.
Yeah, so you didn't hear the next part?
Didn't catch that. Were you trying to say something, Twad?
It's okay. I'll just pass on to someone else. My mic's not the greatest.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry, man. It was so much better yesterday when we were in the VC check-in. It's just like it can be hard to hear sometimes, especially now. It's pretty difficult to follow what you're saying. Yeah, I will just move on to somebody else. Was you trying to speak there, Felix?
Yes. Give me 1 second. Hold up. I had a
Yeah,
question.
no problem, man. That's cool. I remember I checked you in a few months ago. It's nice to see you back here.
Yeah, appreciate it. Appreciate it. Yeah. Yeah. I'm sorry. I had to get myself settled. But I had an answer to your question. I was watching the Flat Earth Reality YouTube, so I recommend that be my best video to recommend for knowledge. Because he was talking about like the black sun and like the Polaris and the way like the angles go from the black sun to the moon. It's kind of like the Freemason logo. Hold up, kind of short winded here, but yeah, that's one of the videos I recommended. I don't know if y'all checked it out, and I wish like people could speak on that a little more about the black sun and like the Nazi sign, and I think that's why the creation started. So I need to get a sip of water. But yeah, I'm gonna cut it right there, so y'all can continue.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I think I know what video you're referring to there. It's the guy and he draws on the whiteboard, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I've seen that video as well. Very interesting for sure. I don't think there's as many videos on that topic or, topics in general that go into the speculation category in most cases, but you can find some golden nuggets here and there. And yeah, they're worth watching. The more information you have, the better of an informed decision you can make. So thanks for sharing that.
Oh, thank you.
I did see Anthony F. You don't have any roles, so if you'd want to go to the VC check-in, we can check you in.
Yeah, I did mention that to him briefly. I'm not sure if he's here though. But Car is here with 2 R's. I don't think I've seen you before, and you have the silver, so if you want to say hi, feel free.
Hello. Just enjoying the conversation.
Are you there? How you doing, man?
Oh, I'm good.
Nice. How long have you been in this server? Because I don't think I've seen you around before.
Probably 3 years.
Are you a regular in the live stream? Because I'm sometimes I scroll down and I do see the same profile pictures here, but I don't think I have seen you. Or maybe it's just because your name is unique or weird or spelled.
Cars and OG.
Yeah, I'm not much of a live stream guy. I don't come in here too often, but yeah, I don't recognize you, so I always call out to the people I don't recognize because I want to say hello. So nice to say hello to you. And do you want to answer today's question for his car?
No, not right now.
No, it's fine. Don't feel like you're forced to answer. It's just a nice way to include you in the conversation. But yeah, that's fine. You don't have to. Don't feel bad about it.
Yeah, I don't usually say too much, but I just like to listen mostly.
That's fine, man. Appreciate you being here. Thanks for showing up.
Hey, Nathan, I think KJ wants to add to the answer. So, KJ, what would be a book or a video that you'd like to share for us for some knowledge, that you'd like to share with us?
Sorry, was that my cue? I kind of missed that.
Yeah, that was your cue, but it's all good. If you'd like to
Okay.
answer, go for it. Yeah.
I would say for a video, Jesus Christ Never Existed by Eric Dubay. It's filled with a lot of interesting information about the constellations and everything about kind of like zeitgeist, I guess that's the term. I know a lot of people have issues with Eric Dubay, but I feel like he has a lot of helpful information even with Flat Earth. So that would be my video.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing. Yeah. I like Eric Dubay. He does have some good information. I don't think I've seen that one specifically. And if I have, I definitely got to watch it again. So thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, sure.
I think I saw Box Ops. Are you there? Or maybe not. He's not there.
He's not in the call. He's in the just the text chat.
Oh, I
He
see.
said he said he'd pop in here and there. So if he does, we'll try and catch him before he has to go again. But he's always doing the pings for us. Appreciate that a lot. Did Flat Earth dude answer the question for today? If you're there.
Good morning. How we doing?
Good afternoon over here, but good morning to you. And I'm doing okay.
Good. Love the show, man.
Hey, thank you. I love you guys showing up.
It's always different. I love these questions. Always get me thinking. I mean, if I was going to say, hey, man, if you don't understand flat Earth, I think you need to start there. So I was just going to spread some knowledge. That lost history of flat Earth is absolutely incredible. Whether you like the guy or we don't know anything about the guy or where he came from or how he put this together, I did read that he put that entire video series together for his wife. She wasn't getting it. So he put a big effort in it. It's actually 3 parts now. I don't know. I think you've probably seen all. He had the lost history of flat Earth, and then there was another 5-hour series called What on Earth Happened? And now he's got the lost history of flat Earth part 2, and I believe he has 4 new videos of that series as well. And it's, you're looking at 12, maybe 15 hours of stuff at this point. And I would recommend that because he covers everything in there, from Tartaria, flat Earth, to cosmology, astrophysics, light propagation. I mean, he does a lot of stuff in there, man, that can get you thinking. So definitely something for a newbie to watch. It would probably blow their head off. They would be like, what? But, when we watched it, we had already had a pretty good grasp of flat Earth and, the fiat currency and, 9/11, all this other stuff too. So, but for somebody that has no idea of conspiracies or really never looked into them, man, the lost history would probably just blow their head off. I would think. I would hope. I don't know. So.
Absolutely. I mean, when I got asked this question by DCO at the start, I said that exact same video series, The Lost History, which is 6 hours, right? I'm not aware of the other ones, so I'm actually excited to look for those and get those watched as well, because you're absolutely right. It's just packed full of information. It would blow their heads off. I agree. It's just it's like, I can't even begin to kind of describe the impact it has.
It blew my head off, and I had a pretty good grasp of Tartaria, flat Earth, and and science and NASA and all that. It's like, and I still watched it and shook my head and went, "Oh my goodness!" That clock in Prague. The clock.
Yeah, I know which one you mean. Yeah.
He explained that, and I was like, I just got up, walked out of the room, and I was just like, kind of pacing and going, "Oh my goodness, it's unbelievable!" I had no idea.
Absolutely. I think those videos are really great. And there were some people here as well that weren't familiar with them. So I'll just repeat it again. Lost History of the Flat Earth. It's on YouTube. It's like 6 hours long, but it should just be one video. It might be a playlist, but feel free to check it out.
There's one that's like little over 5 hours, and then you'll find that What on Earth Happened, same guy, and then he's still going. So good on him, man. It's really well done. It's probably the best flat Earth video I've ever seen. All right, next. Thank you, guys. Again.
Thank you for your answer. I really appreciate that.
Anytime.
I'm gonna move on. Yeah, I'll move on to the Mad Hatter because he responded to me in text. If you're there, it's nice to see you, Mad Philosopher. Why did I call you Mad Hatter? That's just my bad. Sorry, man.
People do it all the time.
Right? Yeah, I can imagine. Well, I don't have to imagine. I just did it. What am I talking about? Sorry again. So you know the question for today? Do you want to answer it for us?
I will once I get a more appropriate answer. I'm still trying to find which one I would choose. There are several videos which I've got in mind. As to which particular one would be the most effective, I'm not sure. I'm gonna sift through them a little bit, and I'll get back to you.
Yeah, of course. Take your time. Never feel forced or pressured to hurry up and answer the question. And the longer you take, the better the answer will probably be. So that's great. I'll catch you pretty soon. Just open your mic and tell me when you're ready to answer, and I'll get back to you on it.
Sure thing.
What's the question?
Hey, Bushel. The question is, if you could recommend one book or video to spread knowledge, which book or video would you choose and why?
One book or video to spread knowledge?
Yeah, which one do you think is like the best to spread knowledge?
About what? About flat Earth?
It can be about anything. I mean, somebody said survival, right? So learning how to build makeshift shelters, that kind of stuff. Just any topic generally to spread knowledge. So it can be any knowledge that interests you.
Well, the Bible first and foremost, but yeah, that'd be my instant answer. But in terms of like, more specific things, I don't know. Like, the Bible touches on everything, so that's yeah.
Yeah, you're not the first to say that. It was, I think, Level Up first, and then Twad said that as well. I think it's cheating because the Bible's actually a lot of books all in one book, right? So you're it's a smart answer to give because you're getting multiple. Yeah, you're bypassing the question, so whatever, it's fine. I'll let it through. But yeah, I mean, I'm in favor of most of what the Bible pushes. Be nice to people, all that stuff. It's simple. Why people can't do it, and you see it a lot in this server in the lobby with all the global patrols. It just blows me away. The psychology behind why they behave the way that they do towards other people. Never get it, but yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Pretty weird question. I mean, like compared to previous questions I've heard on the show, like that's a pretty
Well, we had actually, I think we had 4 written down. This one was read first, and we decided to go with it. But we have another 3. I'm not sure if we'll post them in the silver text and then other people can choose, or if we should just keep doing the whole spontaneous kind of on the live stream. Just reveal it then. I'm pretty good with both ways, so I don't mind what Redfoot decides. We'll just go from there.
Yeah.
Oh wow, I haven't gone through all my old videos in a while. There are entire channels that have been deleted off of YouTube that I have a lot of really good videos from. Wow, this sucks.
Yeah, I remember the last time that I asked a question in Precious Metals. It got a lot of people sharing videos and stuff. And some of the videos were deleted as well when they went to look for them. So, yeah, it's pretty sad, but that's what happens when you're on, certain platforms.
One of the best videos that I've ever come across is when it comes to just general knowledge, not necessarily flat Earth knowledge, but just general knowledge. It was this video. I've got it downloaded. I just need to find a different platform to upload it to. It's this video called "The Origin of the Juice." Now, they type out juice because the original name for it is the origin of the Jews, and it goes through a whole bunch of like really great cultural references, for like or for terms of buildings or streets or just general areas, and it shows how a lot of just about everything that we know today has Vedic or Indian origins from Vedic cultures. And this video is amazing. I want to find another platform to upload it to so I can share it with you guys. But it's magnificent. The origin of life seems to originate roughly around India or that area at least.
Yeah, if you could share that video, that'd be great. Other platforms maybe to check would be like LBRY, Odyssey, the BitChute. But I think Rufkin as well. Maybe just give those a quick browse, see if it's on there somewhere.
Yeah, it's blocked in all countries. It's literally like universally blocked everywhere. So I have to find somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I'll try to remember the name anyway. Well, I'll write it down actually. Origin of the Juice, right?
Yeah. I'll send you the title of the original video just in case it might be uploaded somewhere else and I haven't found it.
Right, I'll definitely look around for it.
In India, tying that in back to kind of the Tartaria conversation we had earlier, India has some of the most amazing designs and structures in architecture too, with all like super beautifully engraved images. And there's even a temple that they found out that there's a pillar or a column that is not touching the ground. It's actually like some kind of crazy engineering that they did back then on this temple, where there's a column that's supported from the ceiling and is levitating off of the ground. So it blows my mind what I see in some of the buildings in India.
Yeah, I think most of those places have some incredible architecture, especially when you look at the domed, kind of building designs, because those ones, like a lot of them are like solid gold or silver as well, because they're both really good conductors. I think silver's slightly higher than gold, but there's a lot that goes into with Tartaria in general. The designs have a lot to do with, people speculate had a lot to do with electricity, magnetism, water, and just different effects like the organs in there, all the churches that you see. Sound frequencies manipulating the patterns in the water, that kind of stuff. It's really, really worth watching that video. If everybody here could definitely check it out, that'd be great, because Tartaria is a topic that I feel like you just never stop learning about. Same with Flat Earth, really. They kind of go hand in hand. But yeah, Lost History of the Flat Earth, great video series. Definitely watch it if anyone here hasn't already.
Yeah, and when you see in India some of those designs, it just blows my mind how advanced they look, even more than other places. So it looks like India had to have been like whoever lived there. I don't know if it was like India back then. Well, whoever was there had some amazing knowledge, and I'm sure they were there for a really long time. So if anyone else wants to jump in and answer the question, let us know on the text or go ahead and unmute.
Yeah, I see Chris VP has joined, so if he's there, he could answer, because he's a new guy. Oh, we got a person with no roles, or Yo Zora Ria. If you want to head up to the VC check-in, someone can give you the role, and then you'll be able to speak with us. And I think there was one other person, but Polaris, but he has the VC role already. Are you there, Polaris?
Yeah, I'm here. What's up?
Hey, I just wanted to say hello because I don't recognize you, and I always like to welcome the new people that pop in during Precious Metals. Welcome to the server. How did you find the server?
My friend sent it to me last night. The app.
Okay, so have you been looking at Flat Earth for a while, or is this like a relatively new topic for you?
This is like maybe going on like 6 years or better.
So, like, I think it's awesome that y'all are all getting together because when I first found this out, I literally just tried to debunk it with like 5 minutes, and then that turned to a month, and then that turned to a year. Well, really, I was just already debunked or figured out that it was flat, and then just started digging deeper and deeper and deeper. But I felt like the more I researched, the more outcast I got, the more alone I got, the more I felt like I couldn't talk to anybody about it. So I think it's awesome you guys come together and, try to plant those seeds.
Yeah, we like having you here. Thank you for joining Precious Metals, man. And you've come to the right place. This server, I thought I knew a lot, and then I joined the server in like summer last year, and I realized I didn't know all that much. You learn a lot in a very short amount of time here. So hope to see you again in the live stream. And just if you got any questions about Flat Earth or anything in particular, feel free to ask. Most people here are willing to answer.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Good to be here.
Yeah, no problem. I don't think there's anyone else new that popped in other than the Yuzora, but
So what's the precious metals about? It's a flat Earth topic also, or is it talking about?
well, right. So precious metals just refers to the ranks, right? Because there's silvers and golds in the server, and it's an event that is hosted so that the silvers and golds are the only ones that can speak during the live stream for like 2 hours, and all the mods and admins have to mute. Because it helps those that aren't typically on the live stream too often to have the floor and take away the conversation. We can kind of go off the flat Earth topic and talk about some other stuff, which we kind of are doing now with meditation, Tartaria. There's been a lot of things that's been brought up, and we have a themed question that goes along with it, which we've got for today. If you do want to answer today's question, that would be interesting.
What's today's question?
Right. So it's, if you could recommend one book or video to spread knowledge, which book or video and why? And it doesn't have to be like a flat Earth video. It could just be anything that's interests you. So, if you like survival, camping, hiking, anything like that, any video that interests you and you want to spread knowledge. So go right ahead.
So I think, the first real like YouTuber that turned me on to all this was, I guess like in my research, I found him, Eric Dubay. I'm sure you heard of him, and he's got like, I think a 200 proofs Earth's Not a Spinning Ball and a 400 proofs Earth's Not a Spinning Ball video, which I actually tried to find on YouTube and I couldn't find it. And so YouTube's got, they're a little crazy about stuff like that. So I did go to Google though. And I found a link to his video on the internet. So I would probably recommend that one. That's what really got me like, it's got a lot of information in it, it's kind of what really convinced me, I guess.
Absolutely. I've seen that video. I think there's a HD version as well, which people recommend over the original. I haven't watched the HD one. I watched the original, but yeah, the 200 proof one's great. Eric, obviously, he's been in the flat Earth scene for a long time. He was the one that taught me a lot about flat Earth. The one that introduced me to it was Rob Skiber. Have you heard of Rob Skiber before?
I have not, no.
Right, so he did mostly biblical kind of seminars and stuff like that, I guess. And he started talking about the flat Earth topic, and I was a biblically focused person by then, so it got me into. He introduced me to the topic of flat Earth, right? And then from there, I headed on into Eric Dubay, and there's a lot of videos there that I learned a lot from. Eric's done so much content over the years, and they're nice and short as well, because most people don't have a long attention span. So if you just give them like 5-minute videos describing, Foucault's pendulum, for instance, is like a 5-minute video that describes it. Really useful stuff to link for the newcomers, because a lot of them they struggle with long videos or things that they have to do their own research on. So yeah, I'd recommend Eric Dubay for sharing knowledge as well, especially some of his older videos.
Yeah, true. I think the first like real like oh my god moment for me was water's properties. It takes the shape of its container and it lays flat. And I was just thinking, and I was like, that's so true. I know that, and I'm like, so if the Earth's a ball, like, where's the ball? If all the water's flat and we're mostly water, like, how the fuck are we a ball? So like sometimes when I'm trying to introduce people to it, I like tell them that. And then I also bring up the fact that we have Polaris, the North Star, but where's the South Star? There's no South Star. And so that's what kind of like gets people into it, I feel like. Because at first I was really particular about, who I would talk to about it, because I just got tired of being ridiculed by people that didn't do any research or didn't really care. It got annoying.
Yeah, absolutely. What you mentioned there, the water as well, seeking its level. I think that's the most fascinating part. Somebody mentioned, I think it was Grim earlier in the lobby, like maybe yesterday. He said, whenever you pop a Coca-Cola can or any soda can, you've got two things. You want entropy, which debunks space, and you've got the second, which is obviously the liquid inside seeking its level. So it's just unique in its way. It's got two proofs. Every time you pop a soda can, you're proving the globe is false in two different ways. And it's funny how that works. It's so simple. It's been in front of your face all your life, and you've just been in not so much denial of it, just unaware, blissfully unaware. You don't think about it. Someone else has it already figured out. You just believe and just go about your life. At least when you're a child and that kind of stuff. And then maybe when you grow up a little bit and you start to hit teenage years, maybe you can start thinking for yourself and figuring it out. But I mean, I was fortunate enough to figure it out at 16. But most other people, they go through their college and then they go into their education, and it just gets harder. I think the more life goes on, it gets harder to wake up. It's definitely faster and much easier if you're young when this topic's introduced.
Yeah,
but yeah,
true.
thanks.
And I've always been open-minded. And one thing that really annoys me is that when you walk into a school classroom or all of the classrooms, they all have a globe in it, and there's just trying to push it, and you got like NASA and all what they did. But I also like to refer to NASA's website because they got pictures of the globe from space, apparently. But, if you look at the different years, you'll see like one, and you'll look at North America and it's like, however much big it is. And then you look at the next picture from the next year, a couple years later, and it's like North America's taking up that whole hemisphere. And it's just like, come on, you guys. And then when you take the circumference of the Earth, which we got, you can get that from the NASA website. And there's architects that have built bridges with that circumference mathematics, building that bridge with that curvature, and it literally curves over the ocean, and I tell people that and they still won't wake up, and I'm like, just hoping that the seed, sprouts one day.
Yeah, I just want to touch real brief on the classroom globe thing, because maybe it's a good response or rebuttal if anyone brings it up. Just mention how if you flip the globe upside down, you look under the stand, it says not for educational purposes, and it's pretty ironic that they would put that on there, but it's always worth pointing out. And
and then,
right.
And then you got how people navigate the ocean, and you got the United Nations logo and all that. That's like what they use when they're navigating the ocean. And then I think Greenland's like in its actual size on when the people are like floating around on their ships. I think they use like a map like that, or don't they?
I think one of the maps that they would use is the I forget the name of it. Damn. I wish they would call the map names simple stuff, but yeah, I can't remember it. Sorry.
I can't remember either. I think what the map you're referring to is like the flat Earth map, though, right?
I guess so. Yeah, it's kind of hard without knowing the name.
Is it the?
I want it. Yeah, it's like a name of somebody, whoever came up with the map.
But
yeah. You know what? I'm gonna look it up real quick.
I definitely agree with you guys in this, that I hate that they have the globe in the classroom, and that bothers me a lot. But one of the other things that I think is a bigger deal is Google Earth, because I've had a child pull up Google Earth and be like, oh, like it just seems like a natural thing, especially because you can zoom in to the streets. And that for me has been the one that people have the biggest cognitive dissonance with. Is for me, it's as simple as Google Earth, right? It's like the maps that we use. I hate that one because want to get into it, but at the same time, it's such a long discussion about that something just leave it alone.
No, I mean, I'm glad you brought it up because I can actually share something on that. Maybe some people's heard of it, maybe some haven't. Look in the live stream voice text because I just posted a picture. So the Google Earth lead developer was sacked because he was saying that the software wasn't using a globe and it's actually flat Earth based. But yeah, you can look into that. It's just a quick starter image and then you can work your way out from there. And Google Earth in general, I mean, I personally made this GIF. I'll try to find it. It is on a meme command, but I don't know what it is. Let me just look for it real quick. Right, yeah, I found it, right? So obviously this is just you floating out in the space on Google Earth, right? That's what the Earth looks like on Google Earth. Well, this GIF shows that if you spin it like a full 180 degrees and then another full 180 degrees, you don't end up back where you started, which makes no sense whatsoever because if you have a football in your hand and you draw an X on it, and then you spin it 180, it's on the other side. One more 180 and you've completed a full revolution, I can't speak. Sorry. You completed a full... Yeah, you complete a full circle, don't you, with a football when you spin it twice, 180, 180. It's back, the X is facing you. Well, on the Google Earth, right, it doesn't work like that. You can 180 it twice, and you're not back where you started. You have to spin it like another quarter of a degree. Yeah, it's under the meme command. CJ added it, but I don't remember it, so maybe someone can look for me. But yeah, that's pretty interesting when you look into Google Earth like that, because it's like, well, why is it doing that? It makes no sense whatsoever. It's just not possible. You can't demonstrate a ball being more than 360 degrees on the turns, right? You would end up back where you started all the time. So why it doesn't work on Google Earth? Yeah, people should ask questions.
And technically, you could use it as a proof of flat Earth because when you zoom in and you go to the coast, to a different coast, you always get an elevation of 0, but then they'll say that's from the center. So you can use it both ways, but I just find that, I guess for someone that just has no knowledge and doesn't even want to hear this conversation, then they're just gonna default to whatever. But it's really great to have this because I can put that in my pocket now and know what to research and what to bring up to someone if they're interested, you know.
Also, when I remember when Google Earth was relatively new, you would zoom out and everything's flat, and then all of a sudden at one point it would snap to a globe, and there was no variable transition. It just went from flat to globe instantly in one frame. It just they've updated it since then, but
yeah, that sounds interesting. I haven't seen any videos of people showing that before, but yeah, it's probably just them leaving the transition code out, and yeah, the instant transition is just pretty much because they didn't add it. So, but yeah,
someone else wanted to jump on. If I don't know who.
I don't think anybody was, but yeah, I mean, I just want to talk a little bit more about that whole Google Earth thing because, I mean, I've asked a lot of Globers it, and nobody's ever been able to give me an explanation for why the Google Earth is like 400 and something plus degrees. That's how much you have to keep spinning it, right? It blows me away how it's possible, right? It's just not in reality. If you do it again with the football or any kind of ball, it's just never going to happen. So
I used to think back in the day, you know, when it first came out, you get all excited, like, oh, how cool, you can see maps and you can kind of see it from far away. And then you think, oh man, you know, in just a few years, they're going to have like live feed. At some point, they're going to have a live feed where we can just watch it live, right? And to this day, we still just have still images and they're barely updated every once in a while. So we don't even have like very live stuff. And that is another indication. It's the stuff that the progression that we haven't got to. If this were real, we would have higher quality. We would have more of live interaction. You might even have some video at some point. So that's just my point.
There's a plane called Sophia. I think it's like the Google plane. It's the one that actually takes all those pictures. And then also, if you look at Antarctica, it's kind of like a little star cluster, starburst. Like it's obviously all tapered down to it. And then also there's 500 years ago, everybody knew the Earth was flat. And there was this Captain Cook, and he sailed the equator, and he also sailed the coast of Antarctica. And he was like, he said that the Antarctic coast was twice as long as the equator.
Yeah, I think I've heard that as well. It's definitely worth pointing out. I think it's like 30,000. Sorry, I should probably try to remember it before I speak. Let me quickly check. Oh, it was 60,000 miles. Yeah, he did. So it was. Let me read it if you want. So he traveled more than 60,000 miles, circumnavigating the seven oceans along the Earth-sized perimeter, and yeah, 60,000 miles on a globe should be like only 12,000 miles, right? So that's pretty incredible. But obviously, it makes a lot of sense if you're on a flat Earth and you're just going in a circle. Why it's going to be 60,000 miles, right? Because you're not actually going around the continent that is depicted as on the globe being 12,000 miles in circumference.
And then another thing is that when you navigate, if you consider the North Pole, Mount Meru, or the Magnetic Mountain, or whatever it is, since they prevent us from going there, even have tsunami buoys that can sense fish jumping out of the water. So good luck even trying to sail your way there. But dang, I just lost my train of thought.
That's fine. I'll probably come back to you.
When you circumnavigate, north is in the center, right under Polaris. So when you're going east and west, you're going in a circle because north is fixated right there. So if you were to actually go in a straight line, your compass would have to spin for you to do that on the Earth, on the flat Earth.
And with north being fixed in a fixed position, anywhere opposite of north is just automatically south. It's not necessarily that south is any one direction. It's just opposite of north.
True that. Yep.
Yeah, a lot of globe earthers, they like to say, just go in a straight line and you'll end up back where you are, right? Great idea on paper, fantastic idea on paper. Go do it in reality, you can't, right? How do you determine you're going in a straight line? You can't. And people tend to think east and west are straight lines, but they're not even on a globe, right? No straight lines exist on a globe. It's just, poor globe earthers, they don't understand how basic geometry works.
And there was this
Or
one
that
time
any-
this lady was pregnant and she was on a plane, and they had to make an emergency stop, and they dropped her in like Anchorage or something. And if you map this out on the globe, it made absolute no sense. It made more sense for them to continue on their destination and drop her off at that airport that she was originally supposed to go to. But if you mapped it out on a flat Earth map, Anchorage was right in the pathway. Like they were already heading towards there, and it was just literally a straight line. And so that was always
I remember
cool
that story.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, they should have stopped in like Hawaii on the way there. If they were going to stop at all, they should have diverted to Hawaii, or otherwise they should have just kept going.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of accounts like that. There's not just one. I've seen videos posted of it. The only reason I don't bring them up much is because I can't even verify that flight happened in that way. Like, how do you verify they did what they did and they flew the way that they were flying and all that stuff? I don't think it's a good proof to say, oh, they did this trip instead of that trip, and therefore Earth's flat because of it. It's just, sure, it's useful, but I don't think it really proves anything.
Well, you can map out. There's like a plane tracker site, and you can see all the flights. And I think what's interesting is they'll have flights in the southern hemisphere, and it's like just one random flight. And I swear that it's just on the website. Like I don't think that plane exists. I just think it's there for us, for us, or for the globe heads.
Or what if it is a real flight, but it's like a government flight that's like mapping out the area or something, and they just put it on there to show us, yeah, there's a plane in the southern hemisphere, and if you wanted to look for it, that there's actual proof that there is something there, just maybe not commercial or something like that. Maybe they just
I think it shows it
they're
as
showing
a
it in front of
commercial
us,
flight.
but not really showing us.
Yeah, I just think overall it's kind of difficult to verify, the plane flights in general. So I just don't personally use them as a proof, and I don't feel like it's necessary either. But yeah, it's interesting nonetheless.
Have you guys heard of Operation High Jump?
Yeah, we've heard of pretty much them all. I think the name controls alone.
Dominic, Fishbowl. Yeah, we've heard them all.
Yeah, that's the biggest clue, right? You don't even need the operations details, just the names alone. It tells you what it's about. And, it even spells the sentence, of course, when you write it out. So,
Yeah, was it like God's Fishbowl?
no, it's got multiple translations, but the one I always go with is Fishbowl of the Lord. That's what it's supposed to mean. Now, whether or not, you believe in Creator or not, it doesn't matter. The point is that that's what it translates to. And the other one, of course, being high jump, right? It's telling you it's the ice wall that they've got to get over, which I think was do with Little America 4 or some other research base. I don't remember too well off the top of my head. But yeah, they did a lot of that stuff. I mean, it wasn't just Dominic either with the high altitude nukes. It was a different. They used two very close together. It was Dominic and another. I can't remember the name.
This is a little off subject, but I guess like a year ago, I stumbled upon vortex mathematics. You guys ever heard of that or know what that is?
Yes, I love that. I was actually looking. I look into that. So yes.
Yeah, that's what Nikola Tesla was talking about with the 3, 6, and the 9. I thought, that's super interesting. If you don't know about that, maybe just take some time upon yourself and research it. But that's some awesome stuff. I wish they would teach that.
I'm sorry, go ahead. Yeah, anyway, I think the last thing you said was you wish they would teach it. We have a member here. Hold on, let me turn this fan off.
Yeah, Fibonacci sequences and everything, man.
Yeah, we have a member here. I forget his name, but he has his own server called 11.7. And he's got tons of information. He's gone really deep into it so far that I couldn't keep up with what this dude was talking about. But he used to be in here all the time. Let me see if I can find the invite, and I'll drop it in the live stream.
And it's so simple to even describe it to people or explain it or to teach it that it should be a very simple lesson that could be incorporated into any math school, right? It's so simple, and you can see the patterns right in front of you, the 3, 6, and the 9.
Pine cones, pineapples, animals, people, everything. Literally every aspect of existence has some sort of remnant of the Fibonacci sequence.
One thing I recently learned, I haven't tried it, I should, but they said if you rotate a tree and count the branches, the rotations in the branches equal 1.618. Which is the golden rate.
Yeah, the overall proportions, yes, but sometimes when you get down to the specifics, they vary, but even in that variation, there is a pattern. So, and it changes for all plants and stuff. So, I just posted there on the live stream the vortex math and how simple it is, just by adding the number to the one before and putting the 9 numbers around in a circle.
Yeah, and every creation is nuanced, right? So of course everything's not going to be like black and white, identical, like clones or whatever. Everything's got some sort of nuanced existence about it.
Okay, I'm just going to take a mini break in the conversation here to give Box Ops the floor so he can answer today's question, because he's just popped in. So whenever you're ready, Box Ops.
Awesome, thanks, and great job so far. So,
thank you, man.
If you just repeat the question real quick.
Of course. So the question is, if you could recommend one book or video to spread knowledge, which book or video and why?
Right, so This has to do with water, and this ties in so many of the things that we've been talking about throughout the course of the precious metals takeover. And that would be like frequencies affecting the structure of water and the memory of water, right? So this ties into someone brought up like Tartaria earlier today. I don't know the full context, but a lot of these buildings have underneath them, they have water, like aquifers and stuff. And then on top of that, they have like these patterns for like resonance and frequency. And that part is speculation. But what we do know, I posted 2 videos in the live stream, voice text. This guy, I think he's Japanese. His name's Masaru Emoto. He's done lots of experiments on water and how they're affected by the frequencies and resonance. And our body is mostly water. They tell us that over 70% water, right? So I've tried a lot of different things where I've seen videos where people are like, okay, well, you put in like these positive thoughts into your water before you drink it for like, 10, 20 seconds, which seems kind of weird. And they're like, oh, if you stir it, also gives it more oxygen into the water. And there's also like, the negative frequencies that destructures the water, and they say that the water looks dead, right? So if you look at natural spring water, and when it freezes, it has these beautiful crystalline structuring. And then if you expose it to these negative frequencies, it's just chaotic and not beautiful. That, and there's also been also tie that into the Tartaria thing I mentioned, and then I tie that into our body being mostly water. And then people's thoughts. I seen someone in the live stream text earlier saying that our thoughts like have an impact like on our reality somewhat.
Yes, they do.
And right. So that makes a lot of sense where, we're surrounded by water everywhere. There's water in the air, water in our bodies. They say over 70% of the earth is water. Right. So I have this huge thing where
Are you talking about the Tartarian Empire? When you say are you talking about the Tartarians, like the
Oh, I'm tying it all together, yeah. That part was speculation, how a lot of those buildings had water underneath them, and then lots of the designs were for like frequency resonance. I can't prove that, of course, because it's in the past. And
no, yes, you can. Remember the star bases of Tartaria, where these bases were literally formed, constructed to emulate the actual pattern that or the frequency, what the frequency would look like geometrically. Like when you put like love frequency to water, and it turns into like a snowflake of a certain design, right? That's what these star bases were created. They were created to put out into the earth, out into the ether, feelings of like joy, love, unity, stuff like this. These bases were created to mimic the geometric pattern of what these words would emulate. So yes, you can prove it.
Amen.
I heard a great analogy by Whitsett the other day that goes like this, right? He equates it to, you have this lake, and all your thoughts and words that you speak are like stones thrown into that lake, and everything you're throwing into that lake is creating ripples. So yeah, I thought that was an interesting way to put it. But yeah, totally. There's also some other water documentaries. I don't have time to post them right now. I'm sure lots of y'all have seen them already. Like entire documentaries, just like how amazing and mysterious water is, right? It's not only about like the frequencies and resonance affecting the water. It's like all kinds of things, and like the importance. Like myself, I drink distilled water. For that reason, like how that Japanese guy did the experiments. He used distilled water to structure the water with, the positive frequencies. So, in my opinion, I would just give you all the advice of like, be careful of what your thoughts and the words you speak, because those frequencies are affecting your body and the surrounding water. Right. That's pretty much what I had to say.
For sure, in that box episode was great. Water itself is my favorite element. I find it absolutely fascinating. You're right. I think the frequency is part of it. Dr. Muthu as well. I've seen his videos and all the experiments that he's done. And, you brought it up with the star forts as well, right? How they emulate those same snowflake-style patterns. That's true. And other things to consider is, like, how did they make the star fort pattern so geometrically precise when, drones didn't exist and that kind of thing? Just think about it. And I think the water in general has a lot to do with Tartaria, because you see the organs in the churches. I mean, huge sound manipulation device, right? It's just, there's so much going off, and I've only looked into it for just about half a year, maybe a little bit more. I'm not all the best clued up, but yeah, I agree with what Box Up shared. I think everyone should check that out if you haven't already. It's definitely something that should be looked into. And I think with that, actually, might as well just wrap up Precious Metals because there's only 2 minutes left. But huge thank you to everyone that is here and has been showing up in and out. Appreciate all the support, and hope we ran a good Precious Metals for you all. Appreciate it once again. DCO, do you have anything you want to add and say before we head out?
No, I just want to say thank you. Thank everyone for joining. And if you'd like to join next week, probably be an hour later, but I'll let you get into that. So thank you guys for joining.
One quick thing before we head out. Regarding some of the videos that have been and YouTube channels that have been deleted, if there is a great video, probably relatively short, probably like half hour or less or something like that, right? What we could do is we could have a movie night where someone could, if they've got the videos downloaded onto their computer, they could stream the video and we could have people watch the video and have a discussion afterwards about some of the stuff that was discussed here in this discussion today.
Yeah, that's an absolutely great solution. And if you aren't aware, we do have the cinema a little bit down in the server. You can just ping MJ. I ping him a lot, and I watch videos with him. We watch stuff like The Secret Life of Plants, if no one's watched that video. Just incredible stuff there. But yeah, feel free to hop on down to cinema and just ping if you want to host it, or if you know someone that can host it, like MJ. But don't spam him with too many pings, because I already spam him enough. Sorry. Yeah, I think it's a great solution, though, to definitely watch together in the cinema, because not only do we watch the video, we can also, do live commentary over it as well and get our thoughts across. So I would definitely recommend hanging in the cinema with us if you ever see me and MJ down there, because we do watch quite a lot of interesting documentaries and things. But yeah, that's pretty much everything. PMT is over, so mods and admins, you can all unmute. Thank you, everybody, once again.
Awesome. Thank you. I just wanted to plug my YouTube channel, Flat Earth 2017 Consciousness. I've had since 2017. I have over 200 Flat Earth and other related videos. It's a great repository of videos that are no longer really available. So take a look, see if you like it. Thanks a lot for continuing this Precious Metals, and everyone have a good day.
Thank you, Sonny. I'll make sure to subscribe to that channel. I don't think I've seen it before, because I am sub to most people's channels in this server, but definitely will sub to that. And again, thanks everybody. It's always fun to host. Take care. I'll catch you another time.